Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Podocasts. So we were having an informal, off the record meet and greet with Eli Noto last night, and for those who will be joining us on the live stream, you guys are in for a treat. This man is sharp. But while we were chatting, Eli kind of drew a map for me, and I really needed the perspective. He provided it. AMP is a standalone product. It functions without Flexa. Flexa cannot function without AMP. Now, for some perspective, Etherium is a standalone product. It functions without the DeFi. It wouldn't have the value that it has now, but as a standalone crypto, works just fine. Ethereum derives its value from usage. dapps built onto the Ethereum chain. Can't function there without Ethereum. It's real basic crypto stuff here. But you need to think of AMP from a similar perspective because it is similar. AMP is a standalone pay rail, but anyone can build dapps for it. Flexa is pushing into the world with a focus on crypto spends right now, but they only work because of AMP. And if Flexa stays purely in the crypto spend space, which I don't believe they will, but that's where they are now, it won't matter long term because there is nothing stopping anyone else from building on the AMP pay rail. I want you to think about that for a minute. A firm could build on AMP. PayPal could build on AMP. Visa. I have always known what it could do, but after speaking to the man, I bought more. I'm getting into that today. Please stand by. I get that price predictions are fun. They are. I don't give them, but they are fun, and they sell well on YouTube. You know what? Throw them away. Here's my rough prediction. This is getting in on air before there was air. How about that? The white paper for this product, AMP, tells you exactly what it is, how it works, how it will grow. It grows through usage, but anyone can use it. There's always some chatter on this, but it seems to get dismissed a lot. Don't dismiss it. This is your money shot with AMP. Regardless of who builds on the network, the 0.5% to AMP is in play. 0.5% of whatever you use. The more it is utilized, the more people build on it, the faster it's going to grow. It is in the absolute interest of AMP to get as many companies involved on the network as they can. Kind of what Eli's doing. Getting these companies involved to show them that it's a better way, a better system, a safer system, a system leaps and bounds ahead of anything that is current or that's in development. Lightning needs to stop what they're doing now and just build on AMP. If you're going to try and compete with Flexa, at least begin the race from the same starting line. Flexa is taking the hard road right now with all of the compliance necessary to get a product like this, AMP, Flexa, into a position so it can be rolled out, so that it can be rolled out by anyone. Flexa is not a crypto company. They're a payment company. But AMP is certainly a crypto, and that's what makes it work. I know I'm saying this over and over, but there is a huge distinction here. If a firm, and I like a firm, by the way, digital payments in a digital space, but if they decided that they wanted to build onto AMP, they can. AMP success is not tied directly to one company. It will be tied to every company that uses it. Is it a slow road? Yes, it's a slow road, but Ethereum did not spike overnight. Our off-the-record conversation with Eli, and you know what? I'm not going to put words in the man's mouth. He will tell you himself. It really clarified the position for me. I kept a lot of focus on Flexa because they are the most visible with their embrace of AMP. But they will not be the last to build onto this. That's where the real value for AMP is going to come from. I've spent months agonizing over this, trying to find the hole in the theory, but it's just not there. They did this one right. The mountains that are standing in front of Flexa right now, Visa, MasterCard, regulatory compliance, a U.S. citizenry that is not exactly embracing and eager for crypto spends. These are Flexa issues, and they will get past them, but they aren't AMP issues. And if you own AMP, they're not your problem. AMP is a technological innovation and a business model innovation that the world hasn't seen before. The job now is to grow the greater ecosystem around the AMP token, and that's where its value is just gonna soar. Flexa is the primary use case for AMP, and Flexa is using AMP one way right now. But as it is an asset-agnostic system, how it's utilized is irrelevant to it. Buy now, pay later. Great use case for it. Any legacy system that involves escrowing money, great use for it. How about a feature of AMP no one even mentions? The token partitions. They haven't even been explored yet. The use case for that ability. If a company did want to use AMP to process their legacy credit cards, it absolutely can. There's going to be some compliance hurdles, but fortunately, AMP has been tested and audited. It meets regulatory compliance as a collateral. So the biggest hurdle to integration is already knocked down. It's going to be the highway for a legacy financial system that wants to get their product into the modern age. They don't have to develop a different method. It's developed. They just have to build on what exists, the way DeFi apps are built on Ethereum or Binance. Regulatory compliance, it's going to be an issue for any new business that's building onto AMP. But the more it's seen, the more those hurdles are knocked down, the easier it's going to be for whomever comes after. If you're going to give a fair valuation to AMP, you have to think beyond Flexa and start thinking about how else AMP could be successfully utilized. Who would benefit from this network? Who would benefit from a collateralized payment system with a fixed usage fee? I love Flexa. I love what they're doing. But Flexa alone is not going to make or break AMP. AMP is for anyone who wants to build on it. Broaden your mind on this, and you can get to a fair valuation. And for those, this is a little bit off the subject, but for those who are worried about the liquidity pool and the way the network grows itself, AMP is divisible downward 12 decimal places. I'm just saying, there's lots. It's fun to give price predictions with no context, but when you look at the big picture of what AMP is and what AMP can do, the potential for others to try a different way before they realize that AMP is the better way. If your mind isn't blown yet, you need to broaden it. Live stream tonight with Eli Noto, 7 p.m. Central Time, or you know what, it's going to be available on the replay if you watch this video after the fact. That's it, guys. Cheers.